At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
Steel Graphics and Designs creates custom racing wraps and logos built for the real world and iRacing. From bold liveries to clean, professional branding, every design is made to perform on and off the track. Ready to upgrade your look? Contact Steel Graphics and Designs for custom wraps. Visit Steel Graphics and Designs on Facebook to learn more.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Chase Race number 3 of the FloridaSkinDoctor.com BTDY Racing Series. A little change up tonight as we head to our one and only road course race in the Chase here tonight at Watkins Glen for the VSPEED 100 at the Glen. Who will be able to conquer the left and right hand turns to bring home the win? We will find out live right here on VSPEED. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Daniel Cunningham, joined up here in the broadcast booth, and also running production is Adam Baker. As always, those cameras courtesy of Dougie Beard. Adam, I know this has got to be one of your personal favorite racetracks, one that you attend in real life, that you've seen some racing at here. How are you feeling as we get ready to go to our only playoff, or our chase rather, road course race?
Yeah, I mean, these are always wild cards when you get to these league races at road courses. Watkins Glen is one that most of these drivers are going to be very familiar with, and I'm sure they've done quite a few, events here, but definitely one of my favorite racetracks. I've done track days here. I've been to, 20, 25 races now, cup races, and, lots of other ones at this racetrack. It is such an amazing and high-speed road course, and these guys do have their work cut out for them. These next-gen machines are going to be a little easier to wheel around here, but tough to get every ounce of speed out of them. and get an advantage over some of the rest of the field here, as there are many road course drivers, that are really strong in this field.
It'll definitely be interesting to see who is able to rise to the occasion here this evening as we get into the chase. Go ahead and take a look at our track map here for tonight at Watkins Glen. Just under 2.5 miles long. Got quite a few elevation changes there, just over 100 feet of elevation change from the highest to the lowest point. The 7 turns, I think that's debatable. I don't exactly know on that, but it depends on which track map you look at. Some of them, they label the bus stop as 1 turn. Some of them don't even label the bus stop as a turn at all. They count the S's as 1 big turn. I don't know. You're the Watkins Glen expert. Is it actually 7, or how many turns does this place got?
Yeah, this is something that's changed throughout the years, but if you go to the racetrack and the people that have been attending for a long time, they'll say 7 turns. And we always would sit in turns 6 and 7, those last couple of corners, right before the front straightaway. And definitely a lot of great viewing spots here in the view with the elevation kind of up in the Finger Lakes. You're looking down at Seneca Lake there. It's such a beautiful location and awesome place to view a race.
Taking a look at the points before we hit the grid here this evening. Adam Cabot, still your points leader, but by the narrowest of margins over Braxton DeWeese. Just 4 points separate those 2 drivers. 3rd to 6th, there is just 2 points separating each of those drivers. Chris Simard, 13 points back. Dallas Sullivan, 14 points back. With Ray Massey and Bailey Turner, each 15 points back. Then you got a little drop off to Dennis Faircloth, Seth Hatchell, especially with Seth trying to still recover from that season, or the chase rather, opening race at Dover. Some trouble that he ran into. Of course, Angelo Ronis, Michael Jones, Cody Atkins, and James Loveland rounding out your chase drivers. Paul Hahn currently leading that best of the rest category. I don't see Alan Dice on the grid tonight, so Rob Liedl, his closest competitor, have an opportunity to stretch that lead out just a little bit more over the 80 car. And I believe the prize for that is still a free entry into the next BTDY season. So definitely something to race for here for these drivers as we get through the rest of this chase.
Yeah, definitely a lot still on the line for those in the chase and out of the chase. And a little bonus here tonight also for top finishing driver outside of the chase as well. And it looks like our drivers are all qualified up, so let's head to the starting grid.
We'll take a look at tonight's starting lineup for the VSPEED 100. Starting on the pole, your points leader, Adam Cabot, with a 1 minute 9 second .369. Bailey Turner starting to his outside in P2 on the front row here this evening. Row number 2, you'll have Angelo Ronis lined up alongside Seth Hatchell. They make up the 3rd and 4th positions. Dallas Sullivan will be starting in P5 here this evening, looking to continue his strong start to the chase. Cody Atkins rolls off alongside in 6th. 7th position, Rob Liedl trying to get that best of the rest bonus. He'll roll off in P7. And 8th place is the 2 of Michael Jones. Rounding out your top 10 here this evening, it'll be Braxton DeWeese in 9th and Ray Massey in 10th.
Rolling off 11th here tonight, it'll be Chris Simard, the number 77 machine. Dennis Faircloth going to start from 12th in the number 83. Rolling off from 13th, it is going to be Cody Maurer in the 18 machine. Paul Hahn starting in 14th in the number 7. And rounding out our field of 15, a small field tonight, is going to be Thomas Brendel in the number 34 machine.
And that is your starting lineup for tonight. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at the race details here as well as these drivers work the pace lap. You can see the track conditions, 71-degree air temp, 94 on the track. Got 40 laps on the books here tonight. We do have a comp caution around lap number 12. 4 tire sets available, only admin thrown cautions. That pit window of 18 to 22 laps is going to make it interesting to me with where we have that comp caution. If guys will elect to come down pit lane on that caution, because they'll still have to pit one time after that. So It's going to make an interesting element of strategy there. Do you pit? Do you try to maybe flip the stage or flip the comp caution? We'll see how these drivers handle that situation as we get ready to go green here. And, if there's one thing we've learned from the road course races this season, Adam, that 17 car is going to be the one to watch. Think back to Mo Sport, where he was upside down, flipping through a gravel trap, and still found a way to come back and finish second in that race. And then Bailey Turner also showed a lot of speed at Barber earlier this season with that race as well. So it's going to be a good battle, and it'll go a long way into determining who will take control of this championship. The lights are off on the pace car. Getting ready to go green here for the VSPEED 100 at Watkins Glen. Pace car makes the hard left-hand or right-hand turn rather onto pit lane. And we are underway. Green flag is in the air at Watkins Glen.
Slow car there on the right side. Rob Liedl, a little bit off the pace. Everybody working their way around him. Field works their way through turn number 1. Adam Cabot has the advantage now, leading him up into the S's.
Adam Cabot doing a great job of taking control there through that opening turn, not allowing Bailey Turner to get that lead away from him. To get ready to head to the bus stop for the first time here this evening. See Ray Massey at the back of this pack, riding on board with Dennis Faircloth. And oh man, he got into the bus stop a little too hot there. Ends up spinning the 83 around, holding the brakes. The 7 of Paul Hahn goes around as well, just trying to avoid Faircloth. Of course, no cautions here, only admin thrown cautions, not a track blocker, so we will stay under green. And, Adam, that was pretty good timing with going to the onboard there.
Yeah, it's always interesting going through the bus stop, but yeah, he just got on the brakes a little too hard, maybe too much rear brake bias, and ultimately cost him all that track position. He'll fall to the back here and might be an opportunity to kind of flip the strategy and get some of that back before that comp caution. We'll see a few drivers likely do that as the top 2 starting to drive away. Adam Cabot right here, your race leader. Bailey Turner behind him. They've driven away now from 3rd place Angelo Ronis, who was really fast in practice. I'd expect him to have maybe some good long run pace. We've seen him strong here at the Glen before. And never count out that 22 machine on road courses. Seth Hatchell here in the top 5 as well. Dallas Sullivan, strong start to this one.
Yeah, Dallas Sullivan always really competitive on the road courses, so not a surprise to see him up in the 5th position. And, real quick, just going back to that spin that we saw out of Dennis Faircloth, one thing that iRacing did do is they updated that bus stop. I believe it was back last year sometime. They actually updated it to match the changes that they made to the track in real life. So previously, you used to have to almost aim for the end of that guardrail. But it seems like you can give it a little bit more room now, and that curbing is a little bit more aggressive. So I'm not sure if maybe it was a combination of that as well that might have upset the car. As the 34 of Brendel is around, and also getting involved is Maurer and Faircloth. Some pretty heavy damage to the right front of Dennis Faircloth's machine. It looks like he's actually going to tow it back to pit lane after that contact. Let's go back and take a quick look on the replay. I'm wondering if the curbs here in this 6-7 complex may have been what actually bit the 34 car. Yeah. And that is indeed what happened. This is something that I've seen in other league races here quite a few times, where you go over that curbing, and especially in between turns 6 and 7, it just upsets the balance of the car, and nowhere really for Faircloth to go there. Cody Maurer was trying to take evasive maneuvers. They were both trying to go to that right-hand side to get around Brendel's machine, but unfortunately, both of them getting collected in that.
Yeah, hard hits for the 18 and the 83, and yeah, Dennis's day goes from bad to worse there.
And I think Dallas Sullivan just made some pretty hard contact with the wall exiting turn number 7 as well. He's lost a couple of spots here to Braxton DeWeese and Chris Samard, and it looked like he did get the left front of that car into the wall exiting that turn. I think this is another instance of just not having consistent grip as you go across those rumble strips. Take a look
Oh,
here,
yeah,
and actually, I think that was going to happen no matter what. He was just coming in a little too hot through there.
yeah, he was over the rumble strips by by the time that he could have avoided it. So definitely a problem there for Dallas. We do see another driver, I believe, has gone around. I'm not sure. I thought I saw a change for position. Cody Maurer struggling back here with that damage, trying to work it back to pit lane. Also to note for Thomas Brendel there, you could see the car bottom out. You could see sparks fly underneath when he crossed the, the curbing, and that was really good evidence that that's what upset that race car.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned it, that if you can toe that line in the next gen car, you can really put down some fast lap times in this car. But it seems like you've got to drive it on the edge. If you take it over the edge at all, there's just no saving it if you start to lose the back end of the car or upset the balance a little bit. So it requires a lot more finesse, but it also requires you to attack a lot more. So I don't know how that works, and that's probably why I'm usually near the back of the field when it comes to road courses in the next gen. But right now you can see Cody Atkins trying to chase down his teammate Dallas Sullivan for the 7th position. And got to think there is probably some lingering damage on that 46 car, because that was a pretty hard hit to the wall.
Yeah, he lost a couple of spots from that, and he settled in pretty well. Last time by, not quite his best lap. A little off pace from everybody else in the top 10, or rather the top 8. So yeah, he's definitely struggling a little bit with the grip, and I'm sure that's affecting front end downforce, turn in, and then exit as well. And was already kind of struggling off that last corner, as we saw. So that's just going to amplify things. The top 2 still driving away, though, now 3.3 seconds up on Angelo Ronis. And it looks like a pass inside the top 10. Ray Massey gets by Michael Jones. Or rather, Michael Jones maybe in front of Ray Massey. Oh, we were still rewound. So, yep, Ray Massey did get by. And Michael Jones now falls to 10th after starting up in 8th.
Yeah, still a solid run, though, trying to get as many points as he can here this evening. And, you mentioned the 2 race leaders, Adam Cabot and Bailey Turner. Their lap times have been almost identical from the drop of the green flag. Looks like Adam Cabot maybe about a 10th or so faster this lap. We'll check and see what their lap times are at the line this time around. But the last couple of laps, I mean, they've been within at least half a tenth of one another, if not a little bit more even than that. This time by, Adam Cabot runs a 109.73 to a 110.01 for Bailey Turner. So about 0.3 of a second different that time around. But still, I mean, when you're talking about stock cars on road courses, it seems like a lot of the times we're used to seeing variances in the lap times that are a lot higher than that.
Yeah, these guys are really consistent and continuing to stretch that gap. Now 4 seconds back to Angelo Ronis, and you can see just by the lap times we showed, Adam Cabot in the 109s and Bailey with a 110 flat, essentially. Nobody else is within 3 or 4 tenths of that. Everyone else is at least a 110.3, and that's Seth Hatchell back and forth, who's 6.5 seconds back now. So these guys are definitely setting the pace for the field tonight, and it's going to probably take a mistake by one or both for anyone else to have a shot. And or maybe a car wrecking right in front of them, like Cody Maurer going around, and that is going to be his day done. Dangerous.
Yeah, that
situation.
was almost disastrous for both of our race leaders, as Cody Maurer goes around directly in front of them. Let's go back and take another look at this. I think he was trying to maybe just be mindful of the leaders coming up behind him to stay out of the racing line, because it looked like he took a really conservative approach through there. But sometimes when you're doing that, especially with the next gen car, it just doesn't like not having those pedal inputs, whether you're on the gas or the brake. And the 55 of Cody Atkins actually has just gone around at the exit of turn number 1. So another driver that was running up here in the top 10, running into a little bit of issues here. As Michael Jones navigates his way around. And that was almost a synchronized spin there between teammates because Dallas Sullivan was pretty sideways off of turn number 1 himself. But Atkins, if he made contact with the wall, it wasn't very much. I don't think it was enough to even scratch the paint on the car if he did touch the wall there.
Yeah, I think he just kissed it with the nose of the car. And that was another situation where these cars really just do not like any kind of change to banking. He kind of went over the curbing, and that's a little bit off camber on that side of the racetrack. You've got a little bit of banking to help you through turn 1. And then if you come up over this crest like you see here, it goes flat and actually a little bit opposite direction, and these cars really just do not like that dynamic. And obviously it didn't work out for Cody. Still rolling here in the top 10 and still not too far off of Michael Jones. Another battle brewing further back here. Seth Hatchell's got Braxton DeWeese now closing in, and Chris Samard is right there in tow. So 4th, 5th, and 6th all under a blanket. This will be a good battle to watch.
Yeah, Chris Samard and Braxton DeWeese are the 2 biggest movers of the race right now. Samard up 5 positions, DeWeese up 4 positions from where he started. So these 2 drivers doing what they need to do to work their way up through the field here. And I know it seems like Braxton DeWeese maybe wasn't the most confident in the road racing aspect of it when we talked to him last after the most recent race, but showing that he's got some pretty decent pace here. So you're going to have these races in the chase where it's maybe not one of your best tracks, or where it's one that you don't necessarily have circled as I can go out and win, but it's really just about trying to maximize the points on those particular days. As pit lane is closing here for the competition caution, but Bailey Turner is going to go ahead and come down pit lane. He hit the entrance before the pits closed, and he is indeed going to flip this before we get that comp caution.
Yeah, and that's an interesting call. We've seen situations where Clean Air has really bit some of these drivers as Seth Hatchell loses a couple of spots. Not sure exactly what happened there, but went really wide off of turn 1, and that allowed Braxton DeWeese now up to 3rd. And Chris Samard went on through. Now Seth back to 5th. Angelo Ronas gets promoted to 2nd based on the 24 of Bailey Turner coming down pit road. And everybody else moves up a spot as he is now back on the racetrack. Looks like a 4-tire change. Topped up on fuel, and he should cycle back around. He'll have to just really keep the tires cool, and he'll be in a good position to maybe lead this race for a little while.
Yeah, and I really think what he is setting himself up for is, of course, to stay out at the competition caution that we will be getting next time around, and then probably setting himself up for a fuel-only stop on the green flag run to the end of the race, because none of the drivers will be able to make it to the end. So it'll be interesting to see how that strategy plays out, or if the tires may mean something. I mean, just compared to where we started the race at, the lap times have fallen off by a little over a second for our race leader, Adam Cabot. So maybe tire wear a little bit more important than we've seen in times past, or he may just kind of be pedaling the car a little bit here, just keeping it clean until we get to this comp caution.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Braxton DeWeese has made up some time on Angelo Ronas. Look at this. I mean, he is just 3 or 4 car lengths back coming to what will be a yellow flag, but that is a ton of ground gained. He's driven away from Chris Samard and Seth Hatchell. So Braxton finding some pace on the long run. I mean, multiple seconds faster than Angelo Ronas. Maybe Angelo kind of pedaling it, like you said, some of these guys might be doing, just to get to the break, as yellow flag is going to fly for our competition caution.
That will put us under caution here on lap number 12. Caution coming out right as Adam Cabot takes the start-finish line. So good timing on that by the admins, so that way we don't have to basically send them around an entire lap to catch the pace car. I've seen that happen quite a few times here when we have scheduled cautions at road courses for league events. But so far, it's been all Adam Cabot out front. He is led from the green flag. Angelo Ronas running in 2nd, Braxton DeWeese 3rd, Chris Samard, Seth Hatchell, your top 5 as they run on track, followed by Dallas Sullivan, Ray Massey, Cody Atkins, Michael Jones, Bailey Turner, your top 10. But would have to think that Turner will indeed stay out, and this will put him in control as we go back under the green flag. And I think you're right. I think for Turner, it may have just been a situation as simple as whatever the 17 does, I'm going to do the opposite. You're already behind him. We've heard him talk about, all season long, just how bad the dirty air can be in these cars. So you've got to do something a little bit different to try to give yourself the track position and see if you can hold him off for the win.
Yeah, we saw that come into play just last week, right? I mean, Adam Cabot, Bailey Turner were battling for, the race win, and the dirty air really playing a big role in what you could do to go up there and get the race lead. So yeah, just try and pull a strategy move, get yourself an advantage however you can. And that's something that Bailey Turner is really good at. Has found victory lane quite a few times just on strategy alone. And he's also got the outright pace here tonight to maybe go out there and run away with the clean air. But they're all going to bring it down pit road now. We'll see what the 24 does. It looks like he's going to bring it in, maybe just top it up on fuel. So interesting move. A lot of times we'll see drivers not even pull it down pit road in this case, but he's just gonna follow suit with the rest of the field.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised. I thought we would maybe see him stay out, but of course, if he is planning on doing a fuel only stop under green, the end of this race, I'd have to think that most of the field would be doing the same, and you don't want to have to give up an extra second or two on pit lane for that fuel. Either way, it's still going to net him the race lead with that really short stop. So that'll get him out in P1. Looks like Adam Cabot will still get off of pit lane in P2, followed by Braxton DeWeese, Chris Simard, and Seth Hatchell, the rest of your field. But just 4.7 seconds in the box for Bailey Turner, and that'll get him a bonus point for a lap led, as well as getting him control of the race once we go back green.
Yeah, Angelo Ronis and Dallas Sullivan, Rob Liedl, a few other drivers still sitting on pit road for an extended amount of time. Some damage on the left front of the 22 machine. I didn't notice that before. So that may be why he lost all that time and was falling further behind Adam Cabot. So just something to note there. He is still sitting on pit road. Paul Hahn is going to get rolling. He is 5 laps down. And we still have 11 out of the 15 drivers on the lead lap and still 13 out of 15 on the racetrack. So that's good to note. And it looks like we'll see. We still have the lights on the pace car. Not sure they're going to get the one to go just yet. Looks like they're still on the pace car. So good time to step aside and hear a quick message from our sponsors of this league.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
Steel Graphics and Designs creates custom racing wraps and logos built for the real world and iRacing. From bold liveries to clean, professional branding, every design is made to perform on and off the track. Ready to upgrade your look? Contact Steel Graphics and Designs for custom wraps. Visit Steel Graphics and Designs on Facebook to learn more.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
To Watkins Glen for the VSPEED 100 at the Glen. Getting ready to go back green here. Just about 25 laps to go to the race to the checkered flag. Just the one caution here tonight for that comp caution and one lead change, which you saw there under that pit cycle. Bailey Turner undercutting the stage there and just taking fuel only on that caution. Getting ready to go back green here at Watkins Glen. Pace car will be pulling off this time by field in control of Bailey Turner. We'll see if he can utilize this strategy to maintain control of this race. Green flag is back out in the air, back underway. A really good jump here for Bailey Turner. Moves up to cover off the attack from his teammate Adam Cabot. And he will hold the lead through turn number one, but Cabot is right there trying to get back around him.
Yeah, really good run off the exit of turn number one for the 17. And this could be down to, Bailey's got one lap of, running out there at speed on his tires. But sometimes that's an advantage. And now it looks like he's starting to stretch the gap down the backstretch just by another car length into the bus stop. The left, right, left combo. Back now down into the carousel, and the gap's still about 2 car lengths between those top two. Braxton DeWeese, Chris Samard, the next one's in line, not letting them get away too far just yet, but the rest of the field's starting to slip back already.
And keeping an eye a little bit further back, you had mentioned there under that pit cycle, Dallas Sullivan and Angelo Ronas with an extended stop on pit road for each of those drivers, trying to get some damage fixed from earlier in the race. Now trying to work their way back up through the field. Seth Hatchell also came down and topped off with 1 to green. So I don't think that he would be able to make it all the way without stopping just based on our fuel estimates. But you know that the driver of that 8 car is always looking for a strategy to play, even if it's just shortening up their stop. But 3 wide through the S's, that's not a good idea. They funnel it back down to 2 wide. All these drivers trying to find a way around Michael Jones right now, and it just seems like that's kind of stacking up the field at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder if Seth Hatchell is maybe running it in like high gears here and just trying to save fuel, because he is kind of off pace compared to these guys around him, and we know that he's got top 5, top 6 pace, and we'll see how he does with his kind of RPMs. But it looks like he's just taking it easy on throttle potentially, as his teammates behind, Cody Adkins, Dallas Sullivan, nearly got into each other at the exit of the carousel. Yeah, Hatchell settles back in the 8th position. Angelo Ronas made up a ton of ground after getting that car repaired on pit road. Still a little damage, but now up to 6th with his sights set on 5th place. Seth Hatchell trying to complete the pass to get back into 7th, and he does get around Michael Jones. The exit of turn 7 there. And the top 2 still out in front. The top 4 really kind of all evenly spaced by a half second or so between each of them. The top 2 are starting to create a little bit more of a margin now up through the S's.
And again, shout out to Braxton DeWeese. Strong run for him, up 6 spots from where he started tonight. Got Chris Samard directly behind, who is up 7 spots from his position on the grid. And then even back behind them, Ray Massey currently running in 5th. He's also gained 5 spots from where he started on the night. So a couple of different drivers able to work their way up through the field, as Adam Cabot now starting to close back in on Bailey Turner. It's just a few moments ago, that lead was up around 9/10 of a second, and he's already got it closed back down inside of 2 car lengths here. So a lot of speed in that 17. I think Bailey Turner is going to have his work cut out for him to hold him off.
Goes around.
There goes the 17. He's into the wall. Contact between the teammates to turn number 7. Not sure how much damage there may be to that 17 of Adam Cabot. Let's go back and take a look at this one on the replay. As Cabot was going for the lead, he drives it down in on the bottom, just a little bit of contact, and then that sends the back end of the 17 around. Pretty good hit to the wall there as well, so I'd have to think that there is going to be some downforce loss on the back of that machine.
Yeah, the kind of tank slapper there with the left rear and then the left front. It may knock that car out of alignment just a bit. And, you know, worst of all of that, he's just lost so much time to the leaders. It's 4 seconds. So actually a little less than I thought. We'll see what his lap time looks like next time around. It won't be quite up to speed as the top three, but Chris Samard making a pass as Braxton DeWeese having trouble down the backstretch here towards turn 6. Not sure what happened, but lost a lot of ground. And Chris Samard able to slip on through. Now he's got his sights set on the race leader, so everything kind of getting shaken up because of the 17.
Yeah, that has definitely opened things up here for the battle for the win, for the podium positions, for everything here so far. Chris Samard now, like you said, up into that second position, just over half a second back of Bailey Turner. And, you know, even just taking a look at the lap times the last time around, I know you said Adam Cabot wouldn't fully be up to speed after that incident, but he was still 0.7 of a second faster than Bailey Turner, even with that. So, I mean, you got to figure maybe Turner needing a lap to kind of get himself recomposed, get back in a rhythm with hitting his marks. But even just looking at the gaps this time around, Adam Cabot is still by far the fastest car on track right now. He is far from out of this race, even with that incident. And I mean, I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see him maybe try to come down pit lane, take that final stop as soon as the fuel window is open, and just try to get some clean racetrack to make some ground up.
Yeah, he's right in the wake of Braxton DeWeese closing in, but he's still closing up on the top two. It's going to be interesting to see the times at the line because Chris Samard is running basically equal lap times as the 24. That time, actually, Samard a little bit faster, about a 1/10.5 faster. So maybe the contact on the right rear wheel of the 24 might have knocked the rear end of that car over just a little further than he would like. Maybe it's a little uncomfortable, but they're both running excellent lap times. I mean, Chris Samard ran just about his fastest lap of the race, just a hundredth off of his fastest lap, and Bailey Turner still in the 109. So both those guys are putting down good laps. It's just Adam Cabot is about a half second faster.
Yeah, the biggest thing that's working to the detriment of Adam Cabot right now is just trying to find a way around the 0-0. You know, we've seen what happens if you push just a little bit too hard in these cars. Seen drivers step over the line a few times here tonight. But if you're Cabot, you know you've got the speed. You've just got to try to be patient, stay in your rhythm. But, I mean, like you said, even with him being right on the back bumper, right in the wake of that 0-0, still putting down some really fast lap times. And if he can keep this pressure up, he may have a chance here to try to outbreak the 0-0, getting into turn number 1.
Not quite close enough.
Not quite close enough.
Yeah, he
almost
pulled the same move that he pulled on Bailey Turner and peeked to the inside of turn number 7. And that is a tough spot to make a pass if you're not fully alongside. It's also difficult even if you are fully alongside, and that really cost him some momentum down the front straightaway, cost him some lap time. That time by still faster than the leaders, but just by a half tenth, so not quite as quick as we had seen. Angelo Ronas also, to note, went really wide off turn number 1. He's still running pretty solid lap times, getting that car repaired. And Seth Hatchell, who did kind of come down and take that extra top up on fuel, up to 6th and about 7.5 seconds back. Would be interesting to see if he can stretch it all the way, but he might be the most likely of anyone at this point in the race. Still battling for third, though. Braxton DeWeese, heavy pressure from the 17.
And this is the closest that Adam Cabot has been. If he can just maintain this side by side, he can try to outbreak the 0-0, getting down into turn number 1. For now, at the line, just about a dead even heat between the two drivers. Looking to the inside, Cabot able to outbreak Braxton DeWeese, going to take that position away. And that was a really hard-fought battle. And Braxton DeWeese, that's your closest championship rival that was right there behind you. So you've got to try to do everything you can to hold him up, not just for that position, but to maybe make him use those tires a little bit harder than he wants, so he may not be able to get back to these two that are currently battling for the lead. And yeah, I'm with you, Adam. I think that maybe there might be just a little bit of after effects from that contact for Bailey Turner, because Chris Samard is right there, and he is putting a ton of pressure on for the race lead. See if the 77 can make a move here and go ahead and get this lead and try to put himself out in the wind here.
Yeah, Chris is a really solid road course racer. Back in the day, in our previous league that I was running in with him and Keith and a few other drivers, he was always a contender at these tracks. Also ran a lot of IndyCar races in a separate league, and has always just been strong at these types of racetracks. It looks like he's got a good handle on it so far here tonight. I wonder if Bailey is trying to save at all, knowing that he's got the 17 a few seconds back. Maybe he's trying to save a little fuel and see if he can stretch it to the end. But either way, these top 4 cars are really definitely the class of the field at the moment. You can see just how fast Adam Cabot is and how much distance he's put on the 00 already, though.
Yeah, and Adam is running about 0.6 of a second faster than these top 2. So if they are saving, they're not going to be able to save for long with the pace that the 17 has. Braxton DeWeese still doing a nice job here, just about a second behind Adam Cabot. Really solid run for him here, trying to maximize his points this evening. Yeah, this battle for the lead is going to be a 3-horse battle here before too much longer with the pace that we're seeing out of that third place driver. And then also, like you said, I mean, Chris Samard, just a really solid road racer. Come to expect to see him running up near the front of these events. And tonight is no exception for that. Still within shouting distance here, Bailey Turner.
He is third in points coming into tonight's race as well. So this is important for him to get every point he can over these guys around him. If he can gain any points on Adam Cabot, it just makes it that much more possible that he could go out there and, grab a championship. That's something that, earlier in the season I guess earlier in the season or previous seasons, you may not have expected, but Chris has been really strong in the opening races of the chase. Really had a good shot at the win at Dover. Strong last week as well. And also running up here in the top 5 in a short field tonight. It's a good opportunity to just get good points and minimize your losses as well. So just being competitive, very, very impressive to see that.
Yeah, absolutely is. You talked about, and there goes Chris Samard, a bit of a mistake there in turn 6 and almost contact with Adam Cabot as he rejoined the track.
I think there was contact when he came back on.
Yeah, if there wasn't contact, it was really, really close. Let's go back and take a quick look at this. Here was the lockup getting into turn number 6. He runs wide, trying to get back on the track. And I think there was a little bit of netcode contact there. There was still a gap between the cars, but iRacing anticipating that contact. More so for the 77. It looks like you could see him really kind of shoot back to the right once he got out there where the 17 was at.
Yeah, and this race is not over for him, by any stretch, right? The top 2 have already gotten into each other tonight, and these teammates have run over each other many times this season. I think most of the giving has been by the 17, and a lot of the receiving has been by the 24, but that may be the case once again here. I mean, that it almost was already, so you can't count anything out for the rest of the top 5 if these two end up getting back together.
Yeah, and again, I'm just reminded of that race that we had at Canadian Tire earlier this season where Adam didn't win, but I mean, he was the show that night. He flipped through the gravel trap. He ran wide on lap number 1, ran off the track. I mean, he hit everything but the pace car while he was out there and still found a way to come home in second. Another issue for the 77 of Chris Samard, gets loose through turn number 1. He's able to hang on to it, get it pointed back in the right direction, but he is going to fall to the 5th position here.
Yeah, I think maybe just
definitely going to make the
pushed a little too hard in those opening laps to keep up with the 24 maybe, and he's superheated the tires now. So it might be time to bring it in to pit road, maybe do the top up if he needs to, and just try and reset that mindset, get some clean racetrack, and see what you can do to close that distance back up. But 10 seconds back now and into fifth. Definitely not a great couple of laps for him.
No, and he's got teammate Seth Hatchell closing in as well. Seth's still running in the 6th position, possibly trying that alternate fuel strategy. Not 100% sure if he may be trying to stretch this to make it to the end, but now within a second of his teammate. And I think I saw some grass and dirt flying up there. I think Chris Simard may have had another small off track there through turns 6 and 7. It maybe kicked a little bit more debris up into the air.
Yeah, I think just pushing that car a little harder than he should right now. Had that speed, had some good laps to keep up with the top 3 or 4. And yeah, just trying to get back in a rhythm. He seems like he's gotten in a good rhythm now. Taking a look at Ray Massey here, up 3 positions from where he started. He's one of our chase drivers as well, and somebody to note, right? He's out here trying to capture as many points as possible, and he's keeping up with the rest of these chase drivers. Just about a second and a half behind Seth Hatchell. Not out of the running for a top 5 if he can keep it up here. So a good solid run. Hasn't made any major mistakes just yet. You go back to Dallas Sullivan. He had good pace there in the opening laps. Damage to the left front has definitely hindered him. He's drifted now back quite a ways into 8th. And Michael Jones here in 9th. Thomas Brendel rounding out your top 10. He is still on the racetrack, but 4 laps down, so only 9 on the lead lap.
Yeah, Michael Jones doing a nice job keeping the car clean right now, running in that 9th position. Battle for the lead, still about 1.1 seconds between the two, but Adam Cabot still running a couple of tenths per lap faster than his teammate right now. It seems like this end of the track, this first sector, Turner is able to match, if not run, a little bit faster, but this back half of the track is really where Adam Cabot kind of makes his ground back up. Starting with this carousel, he's going to gain about a tenth or so through here. And then once we get into these 90-degree turns is where he really starts to make up even more ground.
Yeah, it's basically once they hit that bus stop, he just charges the bus stop so hard and makes up a half tenth immediately on entering the bus stop. And then from there on, he's just carrying so much momentum and has a really good feel for the car on that end of the racetrack. Off of turn 7 there, I think he might have caught the outside safer barrier just a bit. Cost him about a tenth and a half down the front straightaway. As they work back towards turn number 1. It's just over 10 laps to go. And we'll see if these guys do have to make any kind of pit stop. It would probably come in the next handful of laps.
Yeah, getting to the point where I'm starting to wonder if maybe these drivers can make it to the end on fuel. Otherwise, I'm with you. I would have thought that we would have already seen that final pit stop if that were the case. But something we'll keep an eye on to see if anybody can make it all the way to the end. Taking a look here at Braxton DeWeese, still running in the 3rd position. Battle for 4th starting to close up a little bit here with Angelo Ronis. And yeah, we'll go ahead and chalk that up as a commentator. Curses, he takes the road less traveled, but is able to keep it relatively clean. But that allows Chris Simard back up into the 4th position. And also brings Seth Hatchell into this battle as well.
That was full air. That car came completely off the ground. And good job hanging on to it.
Yeah, that is an impressive save. When the tires aren't on the pavement, they don't tend to grip very well. And just misjudged it a little bit there getting into the bus stop and caught a little bit of air. But great job to hang on to it. And honestly impressive that he only lost the time that he did there.
Yeah, it's so easy to lose the car if you get any grass or even if you're on the pavement. Chris Smart, big bobble off turn number 1. These guys are really fighting these race cars at this point in the run. The fuel load's starting to burn off, and Chris already's had a couple of moments, so his tires are not all that happy, but still running in the top 5. Up at the front, the gap is just over a half second. Slowly, methodically has the 17 closed in. And he, man, another time there, he's going right to the edge of the racing surface, and then basically all the way out to that guardrail, which is not anywhere close to the racetrack. So that is that's one way to get through there. And Yeah, he closes up again here into turn number 7. A little wide for the 24. That's going to get very close down here into turn number 1.
And maybe he's using the old short track racer trick that he was trying to cool the tires off by going through the grass a little bit there, Adam Cabot, that is. But yeah, he is definitely caught back up to Bailey Turner inside of 10 laps to go, trying to put the pressure on for the race win. As they come up through the S's again, this is the part of the track where it seems like Turner does have a bit of an advantage, although this time through, Adam Cabot able to close that gap up as he gets over to what has been his stronger portion of the racetrack, starting over in this carousel. Worked their way through the bus stop, clean through there, but this is where that 17 has been making hay here this evening. And again, this time, no exception, starting to close that gap up as they get ready to head over to turns 6 and 7.
Yeah, a lot tighter that time off the carousel, and he is right there putting pressure on his teammate. Amazing to think that he was nearly wrecked and got into the outside wall here at this point on the racetrack. I don't know what, 10 12 laps ago, and he's already back up to his teammate's bumper. We'll see what kind of move he attempts to make. Takes a peek to driver's right down into turn number 1. It looks like Bailey gave him some space initially, but shuts the door there, and couple different ways off of turn number 1 for both of these drivers. Going to give a nice entry into the S's for Adam Cabot.
You know, Adam, we talked about pre-race. You've been to quite a few races here at Watkins Glen. This is kind of giving me a reminder of the O'Reilly Series race last season between SVG and Connor Zilich, and one of them ended up, you know, backing into the wall as a result of contact. I'm not saying we're going to see a repeat of that, but I mean, we've already seen a repeat of it so far, just not quite to that extreme.
It was kind of flipped too, right? Because Cabot was the one who made the move to the inside, and he was the one who ended up going for the spin here. But yeah, I mean, that's not out of the question at all. This is kind of reminding me of the Chris Buescher and SVG race and battle up at the front as well. There was the Martin Truex and Chase Elliott. There's been so many amazing battles at this track over the years. And even though this track's evolved a bit, you know, they've got so much more runoff room that they're using now, as Adam Cabot has shown. But yeah, just a lot of different ways you can get things done here, and a lot tighter that time off turn number 1, kind of flipping strategies. And Bailey Turner's fighting back here. He's still a couple car lengths out in front.
Yeah, he's doing a great job of playing defense here. The biggest thing is he has got a long time. It's just impressive watching Adam Cabot do that, using the grass on the exit, but he has got a long time to try to play defense. This is quite a ways that he has to go to not make a mistake, and he might get forced into a mistake by his teammate, Adam Cabot, not afraid to use the bumper. Says, we've already made contact once today. Let's go for it again. See if I can come out on the better side of it, and I have a feeling that's not the last time that we might see a bumper come into play here.
Yeah, I think it's far from the last time between these two. And Bailey's not going to give him any space. He doesn't owe him anything, that's for sure, the way that this season has gone. And he needs every point he can get. A win would be huge to try and continue to claw back that gap up to the points lead. Braxton Deweese is hoping that both of these guys go around. He's about 6 seconds back all by himself in third. Seth Hatchell's emerged into 4th place. He's gotten by Angelo Ronis and Chris Simard, so he's also hoping that something happens potentially between these two, and could gain some points back there, but nothing yet, as 17 has lost a couple car lengths this lap. See what he does here on the end of the racetrack where he's the strongest.
Yeah, 3rd place might be the place to be here on this last lap, depending on how close these two are, depending on how badly they want the win here this evening. But it seems like maybe the 17 starting to struggle just a little bit in the dirty air. He's not quite able to close in on the back bumper of the 24 the way we've seen it here in previous laps in this portion of the racetrack. And this just all goes back to the strategy call that Bailey Turner made, giving himself the track position, giving himself the opportunity to get out front and be in control of this race. I mean, as quickly as Cabot caught Bailey Turner, would have thought he would have been able to dispatch him by now for that lead, but just not the case. And Turner actually about almost 2/10 faster than Cabot that last time around.
Yeah, I wonder if Adam maybe just trying to cool the tires down a little bit. He pushed so hard to gain all of this time back, and now a little offline on the S's there. That's going to hurt him down this backstretch towards the bus stop. You can see he loses about a 0.5 of a second there as they work their way into the bus stop. This is where he's made up all of his ground tonight, pretty much, is just on entry to the bus stop. That time, though, a little wide, and you can tell the tires starting to give up just a little bit, especially those front tires. And Bailey Turner's just been running a consistent, clean lap, lap after lap. And that's paying dividends right now.
And I'm almost curious, if you're the 17 of Cabot, would you have enough time to maybe drop back out of the wake of Bailey Turner, maybe try to cool the tires off just a little bit and mount one final charge at it? But laps are running out here as we hit 5 laps to go at Watkins Glen. 24 of Bailey Turner has been in control since that competition caution, trying to hang on for his second consecutive win here in the BTDY Florida Skin Doctor.com race series. And yeah, it looks like he's starting to stretch it just a little bit here up through the S's, now over a 0.5 second ahead of Adam Cabot. And again, the second part of the track is where the 17 has been stronger, so see if he can start to close in, but a lot of ground made up there under braking by Cabot. Probably pulled back almost a full 2/10 there just entering the bus stop.
Yeah, that's where he's been really strong tonight, is just on turn entry. Under braking has made up a lot of ground. Bailey's been a little bit better getting back to the throttle and not sliding the rear tires at all. We've seen, the 17 lose some momentum just by getting loose. This time really wide in turn number 6 and 7. That's going to cost him just a bit. Actually going to cost him quite a bit. They work now back through onto the front straightaway. 4 laps to go, and this might start to slip away if the 17's not a little bit more tidy with his line. Oh, almost a little wheel hop right there too.
Yeah, that's something that you don't see much out of the next gen with that independent rear suspension. Don't really see a whole lot of that wheel hop like you would see in a Gen 6 or the Riley's car or anything like that. But as they get lower in the fuel run here, got to wonder how that's going to be affecting the balance. Is Adam Cabot still using every inch of racetrack, and then a couple more that's not on the racetrack as well. Just trying to find every bit of speed he can to get up here and put pressure on Bailey Turner, but it seems like maybe pushing just a bit too hard right now, and ends up giving up a little bit of time on the exit of the bus stop here to Turner. And just trying everything he can. He's throwing everything at it to see if he can find a way to get back up here and get this lead away.
Yeah, he's probably thinking the same thing that he thought last week, is I should have hit him a little bit harder. As big bobble there, though, from Bailey Turner. He's starting to feel those rear tires. I think the 17's cooked the front tires. So it's really an interesting dynamic as Bailey's able to just get into the corner pretty well now. And, Adam maybe a little better off the corner. So it's kind of flipped how they've been. But this time into turn 1, they both go really wide, 3 laps to go. And the gap is back down to 2 car lengths. Might be a good opportunity here at the top of the hill for Adam Cabot. Really nice run up through the S's.
Yeah, this is going to be one of his better opportunities if he can close that gap under braking, as we've seen him do quite a few times here this evening. Heading into the bus stop, Cabot drives it in, but doesn't make up a ton of ground. And little bobble there out of the 17 heading through the bus stop. That could be just enough breathing room here for Bailey Turner, but then he goes a little bit wide through the carousel, maybe gives a little bit of it back.
Yeah, it's just a kind of tug and tug of war here between these two. Cabot went fully airborne through the bus stop. He went fully over those curbs, and look at that, gets really upset going off the curbs off turn number 6, and now into turn 7 really slow and goes wide. So that's going to cost him a huge chunk of real estate. Now 2 laps to go. The gap's back up to about 6 or 7 car lengths. Braxton DeWeese seeing that those two have driven away and maybe not going to get together, so he's settled in that 3rd position, about 8 seconds back. Seth Hatchell, no competition back here in 4th. He's about 3 seconds ahead of Angelo Ronas and another couple seconds ahead of Chris Samard. Your top 6 cars all there. But yeah, 2 laps to go, now down to about 1.5, and the gap already closed back up to a half second.
Yeah, I think it all just boils down to the dirty air and how it's affecting that trailing car in Adam Cabot. It just seems like going through that bus stop loses just a little bit of ground, but here he does gain a little bit back through the carousel. If he's going to set it up, he's only going to have one opportunity to do so. He's going to have to try to just be smooth through this portion and see if he can maybe set it up getting into turn 1. He does a nice job closing the gap a little bit, but again, runs wide in between turns 6 and 7. Loses just a little bit of time. White flag is in the air for Bailey Turner. Can he hang on and defend off his teammate, Adam Cabot? 1 lap to go. They head through turn 1 for the final time.
Yeah, nice job by both drivers there. Pretty clean run through turn number 1, now into the S's. Turner in the lead, seeing that gap close just a little bit, maybe a little bobble at the top of the hill. That could lead to an opportunity getting down into the bus stop. They both go just into the grass there at the top of the hill, into the bus stop now. 24 dives it in. 17 of Adam Cabot pushing really hard, trying to close the distance. He's going to do just that, right on the back bumper into the carousel. He's going to ram into the back.
Right there.
Big contact.
Oh, he's going to have one shot at it, I think, over here in turn number 6 or possibly 7, because Bailey Turner slides out of the carousel. Is Adam Cabot close enough to throw the bumper back at his teammate again? Into turn number 6, you can see how dented the front of the 17 is. He's going to have one shot at it. Into turn number 7.
Oh,
he shoves his teammate Turner up the track. Adam Cabot is around. Here comes Turner back. He's going to be able to get back to the line. Bailey Turner is your winner at Watkins Glen.
And Cabot is reversing now down pit road. Braxton DeWee's gotten through to second. Can Seth Hatchell get through and get to third place before it's all said and done? It's going to be really close. This is points being lost by Adam Cabot. It looks like he is going to get across the stripe in reverse on pit lane. I've never seen that before. And again, Adam Cabot putting on a show for us.
Well, let's go back and take a look at those last few turns there, starting from about the bus stop through the back portion of this track, because it was, I mean, the gloves were off at this point. So we saw the 17 makes up a lot of ground. There was a slight bobble here out of Bailey Turner. And I mean, Adam Cabot just, I mean, absolutely slams the back of his teammate there, Bailey Turner, dents the front of the car. And I mean, this is just a heavyweight bout here.
Yeah, he sent it into turn number 6. I mean, that car was nearly drifting on entry, and he's able to somehow get the handle underneath and then just full send into the back of Bailey Turner, who's able to he slammed into the outside wall, but able to get it back going the right way with some steering damage. And the 17 just couldn't quite hang on to it after it all was said and done there. And how about Braxton DeWeese sticking it out for second place?
Yeah, ends up coming home with the P2, and with where Cabot came to rest there on the front straightaway, I mean, he didn't really have a whole lot of options other than to just bring it down pit road. And yeah, probably the most interesting way that you could possibly see a podium finish out with Adam Cabot backing down pit lane and crossing the start finish line backwards.
Yeah, I don't like to use the cliche "Have you ever?" but I have never.
Yeah, that is a new one for me. I can't say that I've ever seen that before, and I'm not sure if he's just enjoying the cool down lap or if he was out of fuel. But Seth Hatchell, shades of Jimmy Johnson and Chase Elliott here, giving a little push to Bailey Turner, getting them back around the track. So maybe that was about all she had on fuel there for the 24 car, as everybody was able to make it from the comp caution to the end of the race. But Bailey Turner, your race winner here this evening, leading 28 laps. The strategy call plays out in his favor. We'll go ahead and let them finish up their celebrations and take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with you to give you your full race finishing order, as well as hear from our top 3 finishers.
At Cynthia Rogers, MD Dermatology, we specialize in providing comprehensive expert care for the full spectrum of skin conditions, from complex skin diseases and skin cancer to aging concerns and aesthetic needs. With decades of combined experience in medical, surgical, and aesthetic dermatology, our team brings both deep clinical knowledge and a patient-first approach to every visit. Our practice focuses on developing personalized treatment plans tailored to each individual's skin, health, and life stage. We're located in Port St. Lucie, Florida, in the PSL Professional Center. Learn more or schedule a visit at floridaskindoctor.com.
Steel Graphics and Designs creates custom racing wraps and logos built for the real world and iRacing. From bold liveries to clean, professional branding, every design is made to perform on and off the track. Ready to upgrade your look? Contact Steel Graphics and Designs for custom wraps. Visit Steel Graphics and Designs on Facebook to learn more.
Backed by 70 years of experience, Duncan Water Systems specializes in commercial and residential water system testing, design, installation, and maintenance. Our mission at Duncan Water Systems is to provide high-quality water solutions to every customer. We pride ourselves on being responsive, honest, and customer-oriented. Our priority is safer water for you and your family. Contact us via call, text, email, or visit us at duncanwatersystems.com.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen for the VSPEED 100 at the Glen. Gonna go ahead and take a look at your full race finishing results. Let you know where your favorite driver finished here this evening. Coming home with the win in a thrilling last lap battle, Bailey Turner. Coming home in second is Braxton DeWeese with Adam Cabot in third. We'll hear from each of them here in just a moment. Seth Hatchell able to drive up to the fourth position. D'Angelo Ronas rounding out the top five here this evening. In sixth place is Chris Samard. Solid run for him. Ray Massey comes home in seventh. Dallas Sullivan will finish in the eighth position here this evening. Michael Jones, final car on the lead lap, comes home in ninth. And Rob Liedl will round out your top 10. Adam Cabot, that was one heck of a battle that you put on there. It kind of gave me a little bit of a throwback to Mosport earlier this season, where if you ain't going to win the race, you might as well be the show. I know you probably would have rather won the race, though, but just talk us through those last few laps, the battle with your teammate, Bailey Turner, and then especially that last lap. I mean, do you feel like there's anything you could have done different to be able to come home in P1 here tonight?
Well, I could have not been a dumbass and spun myself out after successfully moving him out of the way. You know what? You remember what I said last week, right? I said I didn't hit him hard enough. Next time, if I'm in this situation, I'm gonna hit him harder. And that was in my head the last two laps. I'm like, damn it, I'm gonna have to make. I can't be a liar. I can't call it out in the broadcast last week and then not do it this week. And my God, I definitely hit him hard enough. I can say that. But oh my God, yeah, that was that was a lot of fun. I just yeah, wish I didn't. I don't know. It felt like I had finally moved him out of the way in the last corner. I mean, really moved him out of the way, and had clean air dumped on my car for the first time in 10 laps, and that thing just rotated and came around on me. But man, that was so much fun. Bailey Turner snookered me again on strategy. I mean, he had to do it. He was just saying it. I mean, he had to do something because it was like impossible to pass the leader. So I guess he said he was just planning on doing the opposite of what I did, which was smart, and it got him the lead. And even just 2 laps, that little bit of tire disadvantage. Plus, I figured out some things that I was doing wrong the first run to gain pace. And yeah, I had plenty of pace the last run, and I saw him slip off the bottom early in the last run, going into the final corner, and I'm like, this is my opportunity, right? Like you have to have the car in front of you if it's the leader, basically miss a corner and get clean air in your car to do anything. So I got a little overexcited, I guess, and drove in a little too deep and got into him and wrecked myself. And I thought the race was over at that point, but I guess the car wasn't too damaged because I had plenty of pace to be able to catch back up to him. And man, I felt like I was so much faster, but just could not get by. And yeah, just had to kind of resort to trying to get close enough to him to hit him in the slow corners. And man, I kept hitting him harder and harder. And his car is just an immovable object. I don't know if he has like, blocks of lead in the rear end or what, but like, I mean, I'm hitting him so hard, I'm damaging my front end, and his car is just still going straight. So I told myself, I'm like, hey, last corner, last lap, I'm not going to do the same thing I did last week and not hit him hard enough. And yeah, I definitely gave him a hell of a shot and basically wrecked us both. And all I had to do was just not, I guess, throttle up. But at that point, I think my tires were just so angry at me that I just breathed the throttle and came around. And I can say it's the first time I've ever crossed the line in reverse in the pits to finish a race and still get top 3. So that was that was certainly a race.
Well, it's funny that you brought up the hit him harder comment, because Adam Baker certainly didn't forget about that and mentioned it when we were watching that battle there at the end. And you certainly accomplished that because the entire front end of your car was pushed in after that. So you definitely made good on your promise there. But still, I mean, it's a great points night for you as we head into Kansas next week, and keeps you right in contention for that championship here this evening. But before we let you go here, Adam, who do you want to thank or shout out for the 3rd place tonight?
Well, I gave a shout out to the internet and computer gods last week, and it didn't do me much good because I ended up having an application crash last night in a different league. So screw those gods. I don't care about them anymore. They're going to screw me over anyway if they want, apparently. So shout out to Bailey. It's always fun racing against him, and he's bested me 2 weeks in a row here. He always turns it up when the chase starts. So, I had a big lead going into it, points wise, and he's chipping away at it. So I'm gonna have to get the 17 car back to victory lane to, I guess, keep hold of that points lead. But it's gonna be a lot of fun.
There you have it from 3rd place finisher Adam Cabot. Congrats again on the solid run here this evening. I'm sure we'll be catching up with you here again at Kansas.
I hope so. All right, thanks.
Now let's go to our 2nd place finisher, Braxton DeWeese. And Adam, I believe you have caught up with him.
Yep. Hey, Braxton, this is Adam in the VSPEED booth. You got us?
I got you.
Well, Braxton, a solid and quiet run for you here. Saw a lot of really good speed before the break there at the competition caution. You were able to get up to 3rd place before the pit stops, and then able to run in 3rd pretty much the rest of this race. And then, the issues with the leaders there on the final corner, you are able to grab that 2nd position. But just describe everything from your perspective here in a solid run.
Sure. Starting 9th definitely wasn't ideal, especially in the points situation and just running for the championship. But I was able to gain about 3 spots on the first lap there, so that was definitely ideal. And just had to work through and try to do my best. I think I had a little bit of luck with some of the other cars in front, but either way, we just had to hit our marks. I'm definitely inconsistent on these road courses, but I definitely just need to prepare myself some more. I feel like if I would have prepared myself, I might have been a little closer, but I don't know if I would have had any of them fellas. I got to find something else and put a lot of time into practicing if I want to race with them fellas on the road courses for the win. So, them having a little mishap there, I was in the chat with them. I said, I needed both of you guys to turn around. That would have been great. And they were like, we did. And I was like, no, I needed Bailey to turn around too, like Adams. But just to see Adam there backwards on pit lane coming off the last turn, whoa, that's huge. They just updated the points. He updated them really quickly, so that was cool. I didn't lose or gain any points, and from a road course, I'm really, really happy about that. So very ecstatic to go from 9th to 2nd here.
Yeah, extremely strong run, and that definitely keeps you in the hunt. You still would have been in the hunt regardless of what happened at the front. You came in just 4 points back, and so yeah, definitely really, really tight up there at the top of the standings. Still a good shot at the championship. We go to Kansas next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I just gotta worry about getting a nice qualifying effort, making sure we have pace to hopefully start up front, and we can stay out there and just use the dirty air to our advantage. That's a big thing with these cars out front. If we were able to get the pole, which I'd love to do so, but if we were able to, just for an example, they're Bailey and Adam are for sure going to be right there on our tails. So vice versa. Hopefully, I'm right there. So it's really close. It's anything can happen. Obviously, we've seen that with the first race, and honestly, me being able to get so close. But we're back on the ovals for the rest of the season. So I just need to prepare myself. I always feel good at going at a track like Bristol. It's just it's all about getting track position in these cars. So Deg is a wild card as well. So we'll just try to do the best we can like we do every week, and we'll see if we can challenge for the championship.
Awesome, Braxton. Well, so far so good here in this chase. I think 3 interviews so far, and already a victory there at Dover. So really off to a hot start in the chase for the championship. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for 2nd place tonight?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Most definitely. Interstate Ford had him on the car with the 00. It's the first time I've honestly ran a 00 in this league. Obviously ran it in the ARCA a few races at the end of the season, and we're 00 this year. So different, but I'm glad I'm able to do good in this number and in Interstate Ford machine in general. So big shout out to them, as well as 3 Dips Ice Cream Shop, Steak Time, Dewey's Reservations, Superior Sim Racing. You can use the code BDR5 for 5% off in the checkout. Elevated TV, Ghost Train, Wood Nickel Band, Evan Pineda Designs, Our Pete's House for Winchester Speedway, and Beaver Contracting for sponsoring the Roadster division at Anderson. We have a race scheduled this week. Rain looks like it's going to hold off, so it'll be my first ever time racing at Anderson, and I'm really looking forward to it. We should have a good amount of cars there for the usual Roadster count, so hopefully we can finish the race, have the car in one piece, me in one piece, and have a nice night afterwards. So I appreciate y'all. Looking forward to going back and seeing the battle up front, and hopefully we can be battling up front for the win next week.
Awesome, Braxton. Well, good luck out there this weekend, and hope to see you next week at Kansas in one piece, like you said, and great run out here tonight.
I appreciate it, Adam. You take care, as well as you, Daniel. Y'all take care.
Thank you. You too. That is your 2nd place finisher, Braxton Dewey's. Now we go to Victory Lane, where Daniel, you're standing by.
Bailey Turner, this is Daniel up in the VSPEED booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, man, you played the strategy card perfect here this evening, and was able to get that track position and maintain the win over your teammate. Just talk a little bit about what went into making the decision that you did there early on, as far as flipping the stage and then taking the fuel only at the comp caution. And, how close were you on fuel as far as being able to make it to the end with that strategy?
Yeah, I mean, luckily I was on the same fuel strategy as those guys. I came back down a 2nd time to top off on fuel and kind of match whatever they had. And I just, we were faster than Adam that whole first run of the race, and just, aero at this track. It is the most aero sensitive road course I've ever been to. Could get close, but just couldn't actually get close enough to make a move on him. And then, I just figured, why not go for the strategy? I know I'd be at a little bit of a detriment tire-wise. Like I was fighting for my life that probably last 10 to 15 laps of that race, just trying to do everything I could to save fuel, because we were all kind of right there on the edge, and the pace that Adam and I had, I think actually we were using a little more fuel than the rest of the field. And so I had to kind of back my pace down for quite a bit. And I think I actually ended up hurting the front tires even more trying to do that. And yeah, man, I was just, like I said, just hanging on for dear life. And I guess I have a target on my back from that 17 car. Just decides, can't pass me clean. You gotta run me over every week. So, I knew the shots were coming. So we tried to prep for him, and he finally gave me a hard enough shot in that last corner that about broke my toe link and sent me into the fence. And luckily, I think he got a little, happy on the throttle there and spun himself out. So we'll take the wins where we can get them for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, it made for great TV with that battle between yourself and Adam Cabot there those last few laps. And, you kind of already touched on the other question I was going to ask. So I'll ask this instead. Next week we head to Kansas. We've only got 5 races left here in the season, of course, with the wild card race at Talladega coming up as well. You've cut the lead down to 11 points now after tonight. How do you feel as far as your chances to make a run at this championship in the last handful of races?
I think we'll have to have Adam have at least one more hardware failure to really tighten those points up. But no, it's Adam's obviously the class of the field, and Kansas is right up his alley, and I'm sure him and I are gonna race each other pretty stupid for the first 20 laps of the race, burn our tires off, and then be fighting off the rest of the field at the same time. So that seems to be our common thread this season, and it's been fun. Just when you're racing the teammate every week, you're pulling out all the stops to try to race clean and do everything right. And I've been ran over a few weeks in a row, so at some point I think we got to return the favor, right?
Hey, he said after last week's race that his only regret was that he didn't hit you harder. He did that this week, and you were still able to hang on. So you just got to remember that if the roles are ever reversed, that you do owe him 1 or 12 at this point. But congrats on the win. Great effort here and great job hanging on. And before we let you go, who do you want to thank or shout out for this one tonight?
Yeah, shout out to Sad Boys. It sucked Angelo had a wreck there. He was, top 3. If Adam and I weren't in the field, Angelo was the class of the field there. So unfortunately he had the incident he did, and the cars are just so edgy. But yeah, thanks to you guys obviously on the broadcast. It'll be fun to go watch this back and see our stupidity there the last handful of laps and everything. And yeah, thanks to all the league sponsors. Appreciate everybody that kind of supports this thing and keeps us going. And hopefully back on the ovals next week we'll get a little better car count and get out there with some more guys.
All right, well, there you have it from the race winner, Bailey Turner. Congrats again on the win. We'll see you next week at Kansas.
Appreciate it.
That'll do it for our post-race interviews here at Watkins Glen this evening. What a great battle that we saw between the teammates there, putting on an absolute show. This road course has had some great finishes in real life, as we touched on earlier tonight, Adam. And this one kind of falls right in line with what we've seen here.
Yeah, this was an amazing, head-to-head battle between 2 of the heavy hitters of this league. So much fun to see some punches thrown there, and
Adam, not quite hearing you at the moment. I think we might have you muted at the moment, but
I think they're picking me up on the broadcast. Sorry about that. I had my settings
sorry about
here,
that.
But yeah, quite a heavyweight battle between these 2 today, and it's going to come down to really our top 4 finishers, I think, in tonight's race for this championship. There's still quite a few in the hunt. One misstep over the next handful of races and Talladega looming could get things even tighter than they are right now. It's been amazing to watch, Bailey and Adam battle it out though all season long, and no exception tonight.
Yeah, it really has been. But next week is one that I've been looking forward to since they released the schedule. We head off to Kansas next week for race number 16 of the season. Probably one of the best car track combos on iRacing with the next gen at Kansas. Such a great track with the multi-grooves and a little bit more traditional back away from the road course onto the oval next week. We'll bring you every lap of the action live right here on VSPEED. But that's going to do it for our coverage here this evening. So on behalf of all the admins here at BTDY, for everybody at VSPEED, including Bradley Cooper, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, and of course my colleague up here in the booth, Adam Baker. My name's Daniel Cunningham. Join us as we head out to Kansas Speedway next week. Going to be ripping the fence, running the Larson line as we get closer to crowning a champion here in the FloridaSkinDoctor.com BTDY Racing Series. Thank you and good night, everyone.